Italy will be in South Africa to defend their title as world champions. The 2006 winners finished top of Group 8 after an unbeaten qualification campaign. Marcello Lippi, who guided Italy to their fourth World Cup win 4 years ago, resumed control of the national team following Roberto Donadoni's disastrous spell in charge. Italy began the road to South Africa 2010 with a 2-1 win in Cyprus, that in September 2008. Cyprus were a team with a growing reputation on the international stage, and it took a Di Natale goal in the second minute of time added on to secure the points. So with the campaign just about after a positive start, Italy continued to rack up the results without finding spectacular form. 4 wins and a draw from the opening 5 matches saw them top of Group 8 when the Republic of Ireland came to town. The match had added spice, with former Azzurri coach Giovanni Trapattoni leading the Irish against the country of his birth. It ended a draw after Robbie Keane equalised 2 minutes from time, cancelling out Vincenzo Iaquinta's goal. Italy still stood top of the group, but the unbeaten Ireland was starting to challenge the Italians. They would soon meet again in a crunch tie in Dublin, but first for Italy, a difficult trip to Tbilisi was overcome with the Georgians scoring 2 own goals to gift the visitors the points. The Italians had only ever previously failed to qualify once for the World Cup finals, and they moved a step closer to keeping their excellent record 4 days later. Fabio Grosso and Vincenzo Iaquinta were the 2 scorers in a 2-0 victory over Bulgaria. That ended Bulgaria's hopes of making the finals and left the Republic of Ireland as Italy's only rivals for automatic qualification from Group 8. Italy needed a single point from the October 2009 tie at Croke Park to win the group. But they found themselves behind when Glenn Whelan opened the scoring for Ireland within 10 minutes. Mauro Camoranesi scored the equaliser for Italy in the 26th minute. Ireland had to win to stand a chance of qualifying, and it looked like they would when Sean St Ledger scored in the 87th minute. But with almost the last kick of the match, Alberto Gilardino equalised 2-2, and Italy had made it to the finals with a match to spare. That remaining tie at home to Cyprus ended in a 3-2 win, so Italy were the group winners, finishing 6 points ahead of Ireland. Marcello Lippi helped the reigning champions negotiate a tricky qualification campaign. The veteran coach has difficult decisions to make on player selections for the finals, with plenty of options available in the search for that blend of youth and experience. Italy are serious contenders to win the World Cup for a 5th time.
The Ivory Coast will appear in their second successive World Cup finals after a faultless campaign which saw them unbeaten through 2 group stages and 12 games. To progress to the final round of qualifying, they had to finish above Mozambique, Madagascar and Botswana, and they achieved that without losing a game. The draw for round 3 of qualifying was kind to the Ivory Coast. Paired with Burkina Faso, Malawi and Guinea, Ivory Coast were strong favourites to take top spot, and with it a place at the World Cup finals. A 5-0 hammering of Malawi should have been the perfect way to begin, but there was a tragedy outside the Houphouët-Boigny arena. A crush was caused outside the ground after tear gas was launched into crowds who had nowhere to run. 22 people were killed, over 130 were injured in the stampede. Ivory Coast won their next 3 qualifiers. A 2-1 success in Guinea was followed by a 3-2 scoreline in Burkina Faso. In their first home game after the stadium tragedy, strict crowd control measures were introduced. Only 20,000 fans were allowed inside the Félix Houphouët-Boigny arena to see Didier Drogba score twice in the return match against Burkina Faso. 5-0 was the result, which meant just a point from their remaining 2 games would see them through. Malawi away in the penultimate game looked like another comfortable win for Ivory Coast. However, in the end they were indebted to their captain for securing the crucial point required. Didier Drogba stepped off the bench to hit the equaliser just 3 minutes after his introduction and confirmed their place amongst world football's elite. A 3-0 win against Guinea was the perfect way to round off a hugely successful campaign. After failing to get beyond the group stages in Germany 2006, they will be desperate to show they belong at football's showpiece event. With a squad full of experience and class, big things are expected from the Ivory Coast.
Japan's road to South Africa 2010 began in February 2008. After a bye through the first two rounds of qualification, Japan were drawn in Group 2 alongside Bahrain, Oman and Thailand. With two teams advancing to the final round of qualification, Japan were firm favourites to progress. They began their campaign against Thailand in Saitama Stadium. It took Yasuhito Endo just 20 minutes to open the scoring. Three points from their first fixture left Japan top of Group B. But they lost their next game 1-0 away to Bahrain before getting back on track and winning 3 of their remaining fixtures to secure a place in the final round of qualification. Bahrain were the other team to qualify from Group 2. Oman and Thailand's World Cup dreams were over. Japan started the fourth and final qualifying round as they finished the last by beating Bahrain. This time away from home, 3-2 the final score. A 1-1 draw with Uzbekistan followed before they travelled to Qatar in November. A goal from Tetsuya Tanaka in the first half was the first of 3 without reply for Japan. They now had 7 points from their opening 3 games. Trailing Australia by 2 points, the two sides went head-to-head in Yokohama in February 2009. A 0-0 draw in front of 66,000 favoured the Australians, but left both sides on course for automatic qualification. Japan once again faced familiar opposition when they played Bahrain in March. The match was the 4th time the nations had met in qualifying. Japan took the lead shortly after half-time, courtesy of a trademark Shinzuki Nakamura free kick. Their lead was rarely under threat, and the game finished 1-0. Victory for Japan in Uzbekistan in their next game would secure a place in South Africa. Shinji Okazaki was the hero for Japan. His 9th-minute goal set them on their way to taking the 3 points. Japan were reduced to 10 men for the final few minutes though. Makoto Hasebe the guilty party. After riding their luck in stoppage time, the final whistle meant they could start planning for their 4th consecutive World Cup appearance next summer. Japan had 2 qualifiers left to play, and they still trailed Australia in the group table. Bahrain currently occupied 3rd place in the group, which would see them earn a playoff place. Against Qatar at home, an own goal from Al Binali gave Japan the lead, but an Ali Yaha penalty levelled the game in the 53rd minute. The match finished 1-1. Japan would have to win in Australia in the final group match to secure top spot. But 2 goals from Tim Cahill gave Australia a 2-1 win, meaning Japan finished as runners-up. After a successful qualifying campaign and with plenty of World Cup experience behind them, Japan will be confident of a strong showing at next summer's World Cup finals.